Poor memory must have a bang, 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 poor memory. Poor memory must have a poor memory. Now I want to talk about America's involvement in Gaza and all the problems over there and the shipping lanes and all that kind of stuff. I want to talk about tactics. What do you see out there with the biggest threat? Now, when you have an army, it can only be stretched so far. When you have an economy, it can only be stretched so far. And so you must have allies in a lot of ways to get along with a lot of enemies so you don't get annihilated too quick, as I've talked about in video games. You run around, you pick someone, you go with someone until later, until you make your own group and so on. That's the plan. But at first, you got to make sure you don't make too many enemies. And if you do, you got to make sure that you know how to sort them out or have a plan to sort out that. And be a good one on not only your side, but everyone's side. That's how it works. But I want to talk about the world today. What we were hearing before things come to now, as all wars, definitely world wars, led up to points. They had areas, things happen, and then another country did something. That's what a world war is, and they all get involved in it to try to get their outcome and make an advantage of the problem and the outcomes that are happening already around the world. And so America has a big China problem. Now, China, for the last 10 years or so, at least 15, they declared not long ago that they want to be the next dominant force, so they're the biggest threat to America. Americans, right? They're the biggest threat because they've talked about it and they want that position. And they're going to try to, and they've been talking about trying to get that position legally, which is all cool. If you want to come the next greatest country that everyone likes to rely on and look up to, you show the way or you win the way, as history has shown. And so China has put islands all around the world. They've even built some. You know, they build islands now with their big barges, ships, and built these islands in specific spots so they can use missile systems. Nice and easy. They can just sit there and they don't cost nothing while they're sitting there. So you build these missile systems and then they become cost-free. Right? They don't cost that much. As long as big missiles don't come for the missiles. Right? But you have missile systems. You also have defence missile systems and so on. And so you'll have bunkers for that and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what they're doing. And they're building these things not only for a defence line. You can make lines, as I've talked about, more tactics. You start lining towards your enemy. It makes it easier to evade them when you've already got you coming towards them in a line. Right? And you can reinforce with that line and go along that line. Very easy. And so China, they've built all these islands everywhere. And so they can protect the oceans. And what they're going to do when they got them all done, which pretty much they have, they've got a lot of area, they can go to other countries and go, well, we've got all these here. We're here first as well. We're already here. You can come if you want, but we're not going to do anything if you annoy us in any sort of way. We may use them against you. So you're going to have to make deals with us. Cruising in those seas because we can send a missile there, along anywhere in the sea or along this line, a protected line. Right? And that's where they cruise their ships. That's what ship lines are. And that's what makes America really great is and wealthy is they protected the world shipping. Right? A lot of money in that. A lot of money. You know how gangsters go. They want to go to the areas with big money. And it's not about being gangster though in that area. But there's a lot of money about shipping lanes and protection. Right? Always has been. There's pirates out there. Right? And so the sea's a little bit like the old American way with the gangsters. And the gangsters started owning the city because the government went too tight. They went too tight and they started cutting off alcohol, prohibition, doing all these things. They push a lot of times to see how far they can go and it wasn't ready for that society. And because of that, everyone still wanted to do what they did. They didn't like the government and they brought booze behind the scenes. They got all these great rooms and all these kind of things. And the bad guys got more wealthy, so they caused an issue, right? And then there was a big retaliation, things went back, and so on. And so you get the same issue when it comes to the world, right? In supply and demand and fairness and rights, and how people will keep going because they believe that if they've already had it, you can't. Like back in the Prohibition days, it wasn't a good thing to just cut off people. Right? They're addicted to something. It would actually cause more violence and chaos and all these people that they wouldn't have to help. That's why violence will come, because they'll need a lot of strengths and a lot of people's times to get off alcohol, right? The withdrawals. And that didn't happen when you had a sudden shut off, and so you had the bad guy supply. Right? And so what China's doing is they go, well, you can have your own ships. America's gotten rich now with ship supply. And China's making their own routes. So they don't have to rely on America. And they can also go, you can use our routes. And they'd either make it a lot cheaper as the Americans, as they say, and their safety is not that great either. Right? So it's old tech. They cruise around in ships and build some more ships, and they use our army constantly out in the water to protect. Right? And go, we've got two birds in one stone. We've got some ships, and we can protect it. Right? And so that makes them great. But if you're going against a place with islands, unless you're going to go nuke them all, you nuke them all, nuke. Right? A nuke can do a lot of damage. So nuking would be the only way to stop them, really, or a big retaliation. They're going to lose a lot with ships and stuff and people to attack an island if you don't use nukes and missiles. Right? And if they're already set up, they can shoot missiles to stop you from setting up missiles. But they're going on about all the time. That's why they didn't like America didn't like certain countries that were corrupted and that had got nukes, like Russia will go to a corrupted country to put nukes there to threaten America because they can shoot their nuke from there to there. Right? Very easy. But so what we're getting right now is we've got that. We've got China. They're going to do something. They're even talking about now, they're getting strong. You don't blame them. They're becoming a stronger, independent too. They don't need America. Right? Us Australians usually do. We get a couple of ships, but we don't protect Americans, protect us and English, a lot of people with their ships, right? And the shipping lanes. Some with the English, and they have little deals between the West and protecting each other. So the Western does the shipping protection. But China's coming along now. Well, we don't speak, we're not Western, right? And they're going to make themselves, and they're coming with a new upgrade. So the Westerns got in first, worked for a while, but they haven't upgraded, did they? So what they did is they spent their money into more ships. So they got more ships, stuff like that, but they still couldn't guarantee the protection got worse with the shipping lanes, as we see, the pirates attacking everything. And so what's the best way to swap a business or people to leave your business when your shit's going worse and then another business offers, right? And America's not going to like that. That's not a good thing. And they're already behind in certain areas. There'd be ways to catch up, but more likely humans and bullying tactics is more likely what's going to happen. Threats and tariffs and all-out war in certain areas to show domination before they lose it. That's what America will have to do if they don't want to lose something, is get involved in certain areas, which is what they're doing. But you don't want to go too far, America, right? As Hitler did, right? Hitler went too far where he put his army out too spread out, and then you even yourselves, America and us and the English knew that, and then we invaded in weak spots in a big amount, and it doesn't work, right? It ends up when we slowly invaded and took over. Definitely, we got allies against people and shut off their resources and stuff like that. You're not independent. And that's why China's going more independent. They've got all the factories. They supply all the shit. Right? They're doing quite well, don't you think, Emma? They supply all the shit. They've got all the power plants, right? They've probably got others as well hidden, just like every other country and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of targets to hit. And they get all the resources as they can afford it, as they making money through the economy. We hear all the economies are bad, every economy is bad, Americans bad, and bad. But the truth is the Chinese economy is doing quite well. Right? If they build and create and everyone wants them, why wouldn't you be doing well? Right? But they also have a downfall in their economy, as a lot of their economy is doing well in one area, but then doing well in corruption and knocking down another area, which is what China's been for a while, as the way they run, right? With their leaders. It's a bit corruptish to the Western world. And so the last thing what I want to get to is the last thing America needs to do is to get involved in wars they don't need to. unless there's a plan, of course. But when you spread your army out to get involved in other people's wars and stuff like that, and there's reasons and good reasons and bad reasons for everything, really. Depends on which way it heads for you. You're going to get involved in wars. Now, for China, if I was China, so I'll put it back to war tactics. If I was China and I got as far as where China is today, right, what would I do with what's going on in the world? I'd probably sit quiet, actually. China, sit quiet for a bit. Right? Talk about maybe Taiwan. You could probably go in and get Taiwan. Because no one's probably going to whinge about that, so I can see that point. Right? And that gives you another good critical position, right, for China. Why the Americans are getting attacked, because Americans are in a part where they're joining Israel, and Israel could be attacked in all directions. Right? They are getting attacked, and they believe that they've got all the tools and stuff like that. Then the poorer countries, they're all upset, and they don't have too much help. That nothing's going to happen. But there is possibilities that there can be bad damage. Right? Definitely people who are willing to fight for their lives and have a point of anger to retaliate. And so if that arcs up, then America will be in a war with Israel, and they'll be having problems, and they'll lose a lot of resources, take a lot of money, right? And so it only make America go down further, wouldn't it? Right? And if that happened, then China would be even more prettier without doing nothing. They can probably just fund some certain area. This is only a quick rundown. There's more details to these behind the scenes, as I'll call it. But that's what you do. You sit pretty and you watch everyone, and everyone wants to attack America. Like you hear America, they want to, well, America needed to piece that, get out of it and do other things to not get involved with things that they got involved with ages ago. But they believe they're already in it. They might as well keep going. And so good luck out there when it comes to all that. Hopefully it works out good, but usually every time you think of a plan, 10 of those plans, 7 will fail. Right? And 3 might work out for you. It's usually the going rate these days. Definitely when everything's against you. So the more things against you, the more that's going to occur like that, the less against you, the more you're going to get things working with you, I guess. And that's why people stay out of shit. Because if you stay out of things, you're not involved in it, no one knows, no one cares. Right? And if you get into it, people will start worrying and big things happen. But anyway, I thought I'd have a little chat about war tactics in China and America. I reckon America should have just stayed out of things, perhaps finance things. Best not to say too much when it comes to definitely religion wars, because that's what they're having over there at the moment. Unless you want to get involved in it. When you get involved with it, it can become a big deal. But anyway, see you later.